Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect, episode 100. Today's date is June 18th, 2021, and I am Duds, or Duds versus known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Jimbo. You may know me as Jimbo Slice 23, and we have a very special guest for episode 100, Mojang developer Corey. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. I'm Corey, but I also go by Cojo.
So if you wouldn't mind telling us a little about yourself before we start.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am 3 years into working at Mojang Studios. I am a gameplay developer, which means that I help design the features that go into the game, but I also help code them in. So I do coding and designing, and I work with a really awesome team of people led by Agnes, Lady Agnes, for those that know her by that name. I'm originally from the US, from North Carolina, and yeah, I'm super happy to be here with you guys.
We're super stoked.
I think we call her Queen Agnes.
Ah, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I call her Boss Lady or Swagness, but she really doesn't like Swagness.
Oh, that's the best one.
Oh no, she's gonna hate me.
Yeah, we usually start off our episode with what we've done this week. So, Corey, is there anything you can tell us that you've done this week? Without giving away spoilers, I guess.
Yes, I can tell you that I've worked on Redacted, and I did a lot of Redacted.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I also did a few bug fixes for the pre-release, and a little bit more Redacted, actually. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so interesting.
Sorry, guys.
We kind of knew that was coming. We always know when we have a developer on that there's going to be a lot of Redacted, but we got to roll with it.
Yep.
Jimbo, how about you? What have you done this week?
I've been playing a lot of 117, been on the server a lot on the Ripple Effect.
You have. You've played more than I have this week, which is strange.
Yeah, I love the challenge because 1.18 isn't out officially, and you don't have all the biomes in yet, but I love the challenge of finding these blocks in these rare places. So I went out to find all the axolotls, couldn't find the blue one. Very difficult to find. They're very rare. But I was able to get my hands on the moss blocks, the glow berries, all these tough blocks that are and items that are hard to find. And I also, on my way back to 116 World, I found a screaming goat, which is really rare. And I love, it's so hilarious when they scream. After an hour, you're like, okay, can you not scream so much?
Shut up.
Yeah. But I had a lot of fun. It was an adventure trying to get him across the world to my base. I recorded a video of it, had some mishaps. It had some trouble getting him there, but it was a lot of fun in the long run.
I'm just hoping at some point in your video, the goat rams you off a mountainside.
It ran me a couple times, but yeah, had to bleep some words out because of all the struggles I've had. It was fun.
Classic.
Yeah. I was going to say, when I came to your base after you said you had gotten one, my uncle has goats, and your base sounded like my uncle's backyard.
Yeah, I'm only keeping like 2. I was curious if you could breed them, but at that time you couldn't, but we got some news today that could change that. But yeah, that's about it for my week.
Awesome. Yeah, this week I basically did the same thing. Stole some items off you because I didn't have the time to go find them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I spent most of my time digging up Deep Slate because that's the greatest looking block in the world now.
Oh, I love it.
It's so nice.
Deep Slate tiles are my jam. I take away everything I said. Lodestone used to be my favorite block of all time, but it's just so hard to get now. Deep Slate tiles, you're it. If I could build everything out of that, I would.
Yeah, I was really excited about the Blackstone, but Deep Slate, yeah.
So pretty.
There's so many different variations. Like I'm doing my storage, and I have a huge automatic storage, and I don't know if I have enough storage to put all these blocks in places because there's just so many different things they added. A lot more than you'd think.
Sounds like you did not prepare well.
I didn't. I'm going to have to
shame on you.
Reorganize.
I went on my own little adventure. I've got a rather large aquarium in my base now, and I wanted a glow squid. So I leashed a glow squid and swam a couple hundred blocks and then had to get the glow squid to fall down a 1x2 hole, which was next to impossible. Then just remember that I didn't have a name tag and had to yell at Jimbo to come bring me a name tag.
Yeah, caught me at the right time.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, Jimbo's on. I might be, because it was an hour and a half of me swimming to bring this thing back and then to get it in the hole, which is, yeah, I don't want to do that again.
Man, you guys reminded me. I also played a lot of 117 this week, but I was very lucky. Like the place we chose to build our base was right over a geode that's like at land level almost, and then right down in the mine, I found a place with tons of axolotls and glow squid spawning.
We had to go far away for that.
Yeah, well, my base is in a warm ocean, and the closest ravine in the middle of an ocean is about 500 or so blocks away. So I was swimming back and forth through the ravine looking for the glow squid because I know they'll spawn down there towards the bottom. And I actually did catch an axolotl in the ravine. I came around the corner, it was right there. I was like, oh, swipe.
Nice.
I got one of those. I got a pinky.
Oh, nice.
I haven't made a home for it yet.
What's your favorite color axolotl?
It's got to be the blue one.
I like the blue, but with the common ones, I really like the white one. Kind of stands out.
I haven't seen the white one yet.
White one's pretty cool.
You mean the cyan one?
Cyan, maybe. Yeah.
See, Jimbo, your brain, man.
It's whitish.
It's either the pink or the cyan one, probably. Maybe it's the yellow one.
The one I think is white. It's got a little pink and a little cyan in there, so probably the cyan one.
Probably cyan.
I was going to say, I didn't remember a white one, but then again, you also did think there were lush caves last episode.
Yeah, I blew that one. Well, I looked around for a azalea tree, and I'm like, there are none. What's going on? This is really rare tree. No, there was just none, period.
Yeah.
That's okay. It was a confusing update.
Well, it's the thing is, he had to have read the show notes and talk about that on the show.
Yeah, we go over that stuff, and it just, I don't know, got past me.
All right, but speaking of releases and updates and stuff, we got 117.1 today, and there are a few changes, such as the blue axolotl. You can't find it in the world now as a Java player. Bedrock players, I want to say, couldn't find it in the world to start with, but now there's a parity where you could only get them through breeding on both ends, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Cool.
Nice.
So there's that, and like Jimbo said, you can now have non-screaming goats breed and have a chance of getting a screaming goat. You don't have to go find that screaming goat.
Yeah, a lot of time put into finding it.
So that'll make your life a little bit easier. And also status effects affect goats. I saw like Zuma's video today where he had goats jumping like 40 blocks in the air.
Mm-hmm.
That was hilarious.
Oraf was very happy to get that one in.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, man.
And we also have raised the drop rates of copper ingots from Drown to 11% plus 2% per level of looting.
I'm super happy about that because I could not find copper earlier this week.
Really?
Oh, I found a bunch.
Yeah, I was just getting unlucky. Every time I was mining, I'd hit mine shafts and stuff, and I'd roam through there. I'm like, I bet you this mine shaft took away some of my copper spawns, taking up my blocks.
Very likely.
They did reduce like the exposure to air for some of the ores, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But copper, usually you notice that.
I'm just unlucky. Remember, it took me a week to get my first diamond last year.
That's true.
So I'm just going with I'm unlucky.
Yeah, you got to work on them mining skills.
Yeah.
Powdered snow now fills cauldrons 2 times faster than before. It also mentions it's still pretty slow, though.
Mm-hmm.
I've never found powdered snow. I imagine it spawns naturally with 117?
Not in 117.
Okay. Also, zombie villagers, husk, and drown will no longer pick up glow ink sacs.
Which I love. I love that fix. That's a great quality of life fix.
Yeah, you have a bunch of dark caves around, which they weren't despawning.
Well, that's the other, so the glow ink sacs are not able to be picked up anymore as a way to allow mobs spawning in these dark caves to despawn after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having the problem with they're picking up each other's bits. Like somehow a zombie will die and then rotten flesh gets picked up, or a skeleton will die and I find a zombie running around with an arrow.
I love our game so much.
So there's still that, but I expect glow squids will be spawning in these caves a lot. So the fact that they can't pick that up, it's just one more thing you don't have to worry about. So that's great.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it for the changes. There are some bug fixes, but nothing too notable.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of technical bugs. We'll tell Corey this. We're not technical guys. So when you guys put those technical bugs and then fixes and everything, we're just like over our heads.
Yeah, don't worry. That's not really my area of expertise either. I'm more on the feature side of things.
Perfect. Speaking of which, what's your favorite 117 feature?
Ooh, yeah. It feels weird to answer like something that I designed and coded, but I really, really love the geodes. I think that the feeling of walking around in the geode and having the sound, I'm really proud of how the sound ended up. Like the fact that you can walk on it more and more and it'll make the volume and pitch increase. And like just seeing a geode with the clusters growing is just, it's so pretty. I love it.
I was specifically trying to avoid them so my stream tomorrow, I'm actually going geode hunting because I haven't been. And whenever someone plays a video of them inside, I like fast forward and pause it because the sounds in Minecraft are my favorite thing. So when the Nether got all those massive sound updates, like that was the greatest thing in the world to me. So now hearing how the geode's going to be, it's like, nope, I have to experience it myself in live time.
I hope you enjoy.
I'm dedicating an entire stream to it. So.
Yes. Love that.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, the bone blocks, when they changed the sound of the bone blocks, that was my favorite sound.
Oh, yeah, that was a great sound.
But I've been in the geodes and I've, mined some blocks and it's like wind chimes. It's real relaxing, actually. I got plans for it, but that's in the future.
Yeah. Before we move on, I think, Jimbo, you had one more question.
Oh, yeah. You had the mob vote. It was Glow Squid, but I was curious, what mob did you or would you vote for in the mob vote? Glow Squid, Isolodger, or Moobloom?
It's a very tricky question because I distinctly remember voting for the Glow Squid because everyone loves an undersquid, underdog, undersquid, dog, squid dog. And okay, so personally, I love my life's mission is to somehow get the Illusioner into the game. And so the Isolodger almost felt like a rival.
Right.
Okay.
No, that's not the reason. But I really love the Glow Squid. I thought the Glow Squid was actually super pretty. And I really didn't understand why people disliked it so much from the beginning. But I'm glad it won.
I was super excited for Glow Squid.
I was team Isolodger. Or Isolodger. Yeah, I was team Isolodger, but seeing those Glow Squid in person when you're playing is really cool. Like, I never thought I'd enjoy finding those so much. So, and the fact that the glow ink gives you so much, I was surprised at what they did with the glow ink and how cool it is. So, I'm happy with the Glow Squid.
Yeah, the first iteration of glow ink, I was kind of like, it's not my thing. But the way you guys finished out glow ink, I love glow ink. Like, I've been hunting glow ink all week. That's my plan. Glowing item frames. I want the neon signs. It's going to be awesome.
Right.
That's really nice to hear. I think actually I sort of almost took it upon myself because I was the lead designer on the Glow Squid stuff, and my goal with it was to like take the people that said like, oh, the Glow Squid's boring, it will be nothing, and just like turn that around in their faces and be like, well, actually, it will be something awesome.
Yeah, I think I was more worried that it would just drop the regular ink sacs, and I was like, okay, we're just getting a retextured squid. But no, it's completely different. Definitely worth having.
I'm glad you guys like it.
Yeah. And I couldn't vote for Isolodger. Chillager was a way better name.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're going to go ahead and move on so we can get into some of the more juicy bits of the show. But before we do that, we got to do a survey ad. Blame Carl. But Carl's saying you can help shape the future of the show. Our Patreon and Discord... Or wait, Carl? English.
That's English.
You can help shape the future of the show, our Patreon, and our Discord by taking part in listener survey. Here's High Hopes with more information.
Hi everyone, I'm High Hopes. Over the next few weeks, The Withering Effect is running a listener survey to find out what you think of the show. Included are questions about our Discord. If you would like to share your experiences or have ideas for new features, you can help shape the future of the Discord by following the link in the show notes. The survey will close at 10 p.m. BST on Saturday, the 24th of July, 2021. So don't delay and get involved today.
Thank you for that, High Hopes. Remember to get involved in our survey and give us your feedback for the show, also our Patreon, and also our Discord. Yeah, Carl likes to change the scripts up without giving me any warning, and I can't English right.
Probably because we're on episode 100. He wanted to put out a survey, I imagine.
Yeah, it would not be a big moment episode if it wasn't me or Jimbo struggling over a script.
Yeah, that's true.
But talking about our Discord, it's the only place you can get involved in the Mending Minecraft vote. This week, we asked you to choose between one of 3 items for us to discuss and improve. Your choices were the music disc, Totem of Undying, and the turtle shell.
And the winner of Mending Minecraft this week is... Turtle Shell.
Woo!
By a landslide, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't even close, was it?
No, not really. Turtle Shell had 34 votes. Music Disc was second with 15. And Totem of Undying with 13.
I mean, the totem, I don't think there's many ways you can improve it. I think it's a great item already.
Yeah, it'd be tough to improve that.
But anyways, tell us about the turtle shell.
Yes, turtle shells are items that are used for brewing or as a helmet to give the player water-breathing status effects. These can be crafted with 5 scoots that are dropped from turtles when they are fully grown. There goes the messing up the script deal.
English hard.
Yeah. When worn as a helmet, this gives you 10 extra seconds of underwater breathing. When combined with respiration enchantment, the time can be increased to 70 seconds. It's pretty cool. Turtle shells have 276 durability, but only provide the player with 2 defense points, the same amount defense as golden chainmail or iron helmet that they offer, iron helmets.
Mm-hmm.
When combined with an awkward potion and a brewing stand, this creates the potion of the Turtle Master, which gives the player slowness 4 and resistance 3. I think you can up the level, if I'm not sure. Like Potion of Turtle Master 2 might give it more slowness and more resistance. Thought it was weird how they combine those two. So you get the defect of slowness, but you get the buff of resistance.
Welcome to being a pincushion.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So figuring out improvements for the turtle shell, I'm going to go ahead and throw out the walrus for this one because Aubni did create a very good episode on him improving the turtle shell or the turtle shell helmet. So everyone, if you have a chance, go watch that video. It is very good. And he took a lot of the ideas I had. So I want to throw it out there. For me, one of them's water breathing. I think only the 10 seconds you get with the turtle shell, it's not enough, especially if you have a respiration helmet, which most of us generally do within the first week or so of the game. That being said, you guys remember I'm talking about my own personal stuff. I know there's someone out there saying, it took me a month to get it. Yeah, I got a server with guys who love villagers, so respiration is generally up there. So if we could buff the turtle shell to just maybe, I don't know, respiration 8, that'd be awesome. Fun-wise, I had the idea, how cool would it be if instead of having, Jimbo mentioned shield, but instead of using a shield, if you clicked like you had a shield in your inventory and your head would just sink into your body like a turtle.
Yeah.
So you could duck.
Ooh.
That's my fun fix. And I was thinking it could be used as a shield in that case. You duck down just as if it was in your offhand, but you're wearing it. Kind of gives you an inventory spot too. And shields you from attacks.
What if you just like look at the ground so the top of your head is just a shield? I moved away from the mic when I said that, but
I'm doing it right now. I'm putting my head in my shoulders.
yeah, no, right? You just can't help but do it.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Corey, is there anything about the turtle shell you could think of off the top of your head that you'd want to improve, or are we just being crazy?
I think you guys have some great ideas. And I mean, I don't know that I should actually say ideas that I think we should add, because then everyone's going to be like, ooh, Cojo said they're going to add that.
Right.
I did have one really fun idea.
I was going to say, you are on this show. No one's going to take it seriously.
I do have one really fun idea. What if you could get in the turtle shell and then ride it down a hill like a sled?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
You Super Mario that shell.
That's what I was thinking. Super Mario.
Absolutely. The other idea I had was just becoming Blastoise and being able to shoot water cannons.
Oh, that would be cool too.
Ooh.
Water cannon would be a really fun thing to have.
It would be.
This just in, water cannon coming to
No.
Minecraft.
Yeah, a lot of the comments from Discord had people talking about making turtle shell armor. But guys, remember, mending Minecraft is about taking something that's already in the game and trying to improve it, not creating new stuff to replace it. That's what Corey's for.
I wouldn't mind if, like, instead of using the turtle shell to act as a shield when you duck, maybe combine it with the shield. I mean, we do have one shield out there. It'd be nice to have more of those, different kinds, and maybe that shield can block a guardian beam.
It's true, but you're creating new items, which is taking away the fun of mending Minecraft.
You just combined it with a shield.
Or you just need a blue turtle. Then you have a blue turtle shell.
Oh, are there blue turtles?
No.
There will be.
Yet.
This just in. No, just kidding.
All right, well, that's mending Minecraft. Thank you guys so much for participating in those votes and stuff. Carl's got next week's vote, I think, lined up already, so that'll be fun. But let's get into some interview questions, because let's face it, that's why we had 20 people join the Discord last week. So we're just going to bounce back and forth. Me and Jimbo have kind of saved all of our questions for the post show, so if you guys want to hear that, you got to subscribe to the Patreon, but it's only $1 a month to get the pre and post show. So super cheap, but we're going to let Jimbo start off. We're just going to bounce back and forth.
Okay. As an American living in Sweden, what are some things that you like about the country? What are the things that you still find kind of weird? This is from Decoy. He's actually makes our music for the show, and he lives in Sweden.
Oh, super cool. Yeah, that's a fun question, especially from a Swede. And I get this a lot because, friends and family back home love to know this as well. So I will say, I don't want to get too controversial. You know what? It's not controversial. Having the healthcare situation here is very nice. The fact that I know I'll be taken care of if something bad happens is really great. I didn't feel this security living in the US, so that is just really nice in general. Yeah. The public transportation is amazing. Like I grew up in a city with just buses, and even those buses didn't go where I lived, and they're not very well taken care of compared to here. I mean, I could bike to work, walk to work, take the bus, take the subway, take a boat if I wanted to. It's pretty cool. Like, there's just so many different kinds of public transportation. I think it's awesome. About the people, I love how much Swedes appreciate summer and sunlight. Like, after experiencing 8 months of darkness every year, when summer finally comes, every Swede is always outside. It's so cool. I love it.
That is cool.
It really helps you appreciate the summer months when they arrive. And a similar note, there's definitely like an appreciation for nature here, where there's something that I'm totally going to butcher the pronunciation of called allemansrätten, which essentially means like an everyman's right. So you can pick berries from bushes you find, or pluck mushrooms from the ground. And it's just like anybody is allowed to do this. You're sort of allowed to go most places and hike or camp or whatever, as long as you don't leave an impression where you were. So as long as you can do that without sort of destroying the land and, leaving trash and stuff, then you're allowed to do so, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I've definitely taken advantage of that many times. I also just adore how the Swedish forests in the fall, It's just like first you get berries for a month and then you get mushrooms for another month. And it's just so cool. Like you just go out every weekend and pick stuff. It's really fun. And it's actually really funny because every Swede has a secret mushroom spot when it comes into like September, October for chanterelles, I think they're called. And every like Swede has a secret spot, and they don't even tell their family members.
Oh wow!
Wow,
it's intense. Actually, it's so funny.
It's that secret.
Yeah, it's funny. And also, like I've become very passionate about like climate issues since I moved here, and the general attitude towards that, and the general like effort that the people put in here to live more sustainable lives is actually quite inspiring. So I really like that as well. Some weird stuff. Swedes can be really like shy and antisocial. It's kind of hard to describe. So like coming from the US, it's like you can make friends just standing in a grocery line or, you know, sitting in a coffee shop. You just talk to someone and it's very normal that someone might just start talking to you. I think it's like the same way in a lot of different countries around the world. But in Sweden, that's super weird. And people will just kind of look at you like you're this really weird person for talking to them. It's super common that you never meet your neighbors. And in general, it's like really hard to work your way in to a Swede's inner friend circle, which is also a very interesting experience trying to make friends with Swedish coworkers.
Right.
Yeah. This place sounds perfect to me. What are you talking about?
Oh, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And Swedes, let me clarify that by saying Swedes are some of the nicest people I've ever met. They're just pretty shy.
Okay.
We get that from Decoy.
And the weirdest thing by far is surströmming, which is, how do I describe this? It's the smelliest, like just stinkiest fish. I think it's like fermented herring, maybe fermented some kind of fish. You have to open the can of it underwater. Otherwise it will smell the area that you're in so bad that people will probably start throwing up.
Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah, that is weird.
I'm sure it made sense a long time ago when you had to keep food over the winter, but it's just a tradition now that people eat like once a year, at least in the city. And I think that's just...
It's like a delicacy.
I wouldn't say delicacy, more an experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like how Swedes love taking, like Midsummer every year is this super holiday. That's actually coming up next weekend. And it's like the reason that Midsummer was first celebrated is not really relevant anymore. But people take it so seriously and they will go all out to celebrate Midsummer, dancing around the maypole, putting wreaths on their heads. I love it. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So my follow-up question would be, do you have a secret mushroom spot? Or am I crossing the line here?
Ooh. Unfortunately, I don't yet. I have not found a spot that has given me successful mushroom finds in my last 3 years. I found some decent ones, but nothing that I'm really ready to call home yet.
Okay.
That means he's found one and he just doesn't want to tell you, Jimbo.
It's too secret.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. This question's from Gryffindor889, and they ask, what is a normal day for you?
Let's see. So it starts by waking up. That's always a crucial part of every day of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I clean up. Usually I shower if I haven't showered the night before, brush my teeth, that kind of stuff. I make breakfast, I eat, and it's usually around 9 in the morning at this point. Sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later, depending on the day. Depending on the day of the week, my first meeting is either like a design team stand-up, a bug triage where we go through the bugs that have been reported and give them like a priority so we know what to focus on. Swedish class, which I take once a week every Thursday, which is at 8:30 in the morning, which is just so early, and it's just so hard to try and learn Swedish at 8:30 in the morning, but yeah, I do it anyway, and I really like it. I feel that I'm coming along, which is great. We have like a Monday meeting where we go over stuff within the company every Monday, which is nice. So that's how my day starts. And then we have like within the vanilla team, different like sub team stand-ups. So I like to go to those and then have an hour or so of work before lunch, maybe 2 hours. And then I go on a walk. I try to go on a walk every day during lunch, especially during the summer. It's much harder to motivate that in the winter, but I like doing it in the summer. And then usually the afternoons are more free for work. Kind of hard to describe exactly what that work looks like, but it's different depending on what part of the update cycle we're in.
Gotcha.
Should I go all the way through sleep or?
I think you're fine. We don't need to know your dreams or anything like that.
I will say, I've been planting a lot, like gardening I have a lot of plants growing in my kitchen right now. So like every day after work, I go in there and I water all of them, which is very satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Mojang Studios is like Area 51. Like you want to know what's going on inside there, but you got to be like qualified or...
You got to have some clearance for that.
Yeah, you got to have clearance. That's the word.
Yeah, I really miss the office, I have to say. Like, it's really great to get to see people on the video calls every day, but man, I would love to see them at the office again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Next question I have here is from Awsam2399. What mobs/games inspire you for Minecraft features?
Yeah, I really like this question because I think all game developers take inspiration from other games, and I think that's really cool. So for different features, I have different things that have inspired me. So for raids, specifically, I was inspired heavily by some of my favorite games, which are Left 4 Dead 2 and Killing Floor.
Mm-hmm.
I really love games where there's just hordes of mobs coming at you, and you have to fend them off by defending a point. And that definitely shines through in raids. That's very much what raids are.
Yeah.
Almost too much, I would say, especially since you're trying to defend the poor villagers who can't really defend themselves too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think inspiration often comes from ideas that I was exposed to without even realizing it. And sometimes I am more cognizant of it. Another good example would be the Amethyst Geodes, actually, the sounds. I worked with Samuel, our sound guy, because I was inspired by Bit Trip Runner. And I really liked how the longer you went on the level, the more layers the sound would get. And the music started at this very simple beat. But by the end of the level, it was this like ethereal, very wavy, cool sound that had like 5 different layers to it. And I thought that was so cool. And I wanted the same thing for the geodes. It's not quite the same, but I really like that the volume and the pitch increase the more you walk on them. And that's where I got the inspiration for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then one more example would be actually in the geodes again, the clusters. I was inspired by actually a book, the Mistborn series. So there's like the Adium crystals, and they only grow one place in the world, and you had to go there if you wanted to get Adium. And I thought it was really interesting, that concept of like you have to go there to get it. And I wanted to try that out with the clusters, and that's how the budding amethyst idea came to be.
Yeah, I like it.
Next question I have doesn't have a name to it. I don't know if we missed it or if it got deleted on accident, but whoever's question it is, sorry, let me know and I'll mention it on the next show. But it says, other than 1.17, what's been the most difficult update for you?
Yeah, difficult is an interesting word choice, I would say. Every update has its challenges for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the Nether update, not because it was so difficult to do, but because the Bastions, which is like the Bastion Remnants, a feature that I worked many, many months on, it was a lot of work to put that together and to coordinate with Moshe, who did the structure design for that, and to work with Prof and Fry to bring the like jigsaw code up to speed enough to be able to do them. So it was a very collaborative process, but it was definitely not the easiest feature that I've worked on. I think the Nether update probably, I would say.
Yeah. Well, the Nether update in general, I mean, you guys changed an entire dimension without changing the feel of the dimension, which I think is great.
It was a fun one to work on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That question was from a random oven, by the way. I was able to find it.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Jimbo.
No problem. Next question I have is from Chili Child. They ask, how will the delay of 1.18 impact the development of the following updates? Will we expect to see 1.19 the following summer as the usual release time? Like once a year type of deal?
Yeah, so unfortunately I can't speak to future updates since they are in the future.
Right.
So like I can't say exactly when 1.19 will be. But I can say from the conversations and the brainstorms that we've had within the studio that it's going to be really awesome. I am personally super, super excited about it. I think all the features that we talked about so far for that update are going to be just really, really cool. So I would say the delay of 1.18 won't necessarily impact the following update because we're going to make sure that we take we're going to make sure that 118 is delivered at quality that we feel really good about. But that won't affect 119 because we're not going to sacrifice the quality of another update to make sure that the other update is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you guys split it personally because
Yes.
we didn't have to wait as long. You know, we still got to play the game with the new blocks, and I'm having a lot of fun with 117 as it is. And I know I was worried about it, you know, with the expansion of the world and how it would affect, you know, generation and rendering and stuff. I was like, man, you know, I'm expecting a later update, but yeah, it was cool to see that come out before that. And I'm okay if it's not ready, then yeah, hold it back. I'm okay with that.
The next question is from our very own Carl. And Carl, you wrote a paragraph, man. Come on. Carl says, I know you hear a lot about the need for more blocks to have stair slabs, walls, such as concrete, quartz brick, terracotta, etc. But how do you decide which get pressure plates, buttons? For example, Blackstone has them, but the new Deep Slate does not. Could you see a time where every block has stair slabs, walls, pressure plates, trapdoors, and buttons to give us more color variance when building in details?
Yeah, that's a question, all right.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to answer. So every designer has a view of how the game should be. And then there's also the reality of how the game is. There's the unfortunate situation of, like, if we keep adding blocks to the game, then we need some way to manage those blocks in survival mode. We need some way to manage the inventory so that people don't just end up getting overflowed very quickly and they can't actually have all the blocks that they want to have at any given time. When it comes to which ones can be crafted into other ones, there are general, like, consistency rules that we do try to follow. But when it comes to the stones, that's more of a per stone basis because we have like a story for each stone and how we view it and where it came from. And sometimes we feel that, like, yeah, this is what the game really would benefit from. And sometimes maybe it's similar enough to something else that we feel it's not the right time to add it. It really depends per feature. And I think that obviously those are some of the most requested things to have, for instance, like the concrete stair slabs, walls. But it's a big discussion that is definitely it's brought up quite a bit.
Yeah,
and we do have reasons for not doing it yet, but that doesn't mean that it will never happen. So yeah, I would say it's an ongoing discussion, but it is like it's a really interesting question. I actually need to think more about this one after the podcast.
See, Carl, look what you did. You made a man think on his day off.
Oh, it's Friday, man. Come on.
Yeah, Ulroth, we mentioned the whole concrete stairs and slabs, and he's like, man, I hear it all the time.
Yep.
So we'll put it to up for consideration.
Next question is from Paint. They ask, as the creator of the Tropicraft mod, can you explain the difference between modding and officially developing the game?
This is a question that I'm really glad was asked. Unfortunately, not for the... it's unfortunate that this question often gets brought up more in accusations than as a question. So we get this a lot, that people are like, oh, just hire modders. It'll go faster. You'll be able to get so much more done so much quicker. It's really funny because, like, a lot of the dev team is former modders.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, we talked to King B-Dogs, and that's how he got started.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I got started. I mean, we have Sarge, who created the MCP platform. Like, the entire base of what modding is today was started by him. He's on the team. Grum and Dinnerbone, they created, like, co-created Bucket. So, like, we've got a lot of modders on the team. And many others that I didn't mention there, just so they don't feel left out. But okay, so the biggest difference, I would say, is, like, with modding, you're your own stakeholder. You're not beholden to anyone except yourself. So if you decide that you want to ditch everything in your mod one day and just completely start over, you can do that. I couldn't go into work one day and be like, guys, we're going to start Minecraft over. Like, that's just not how it works.
You're right.
There's a lot of stakeholders involved. There's a lot of teams involved. As a modder, you're not responsible for anything other than the mod itself. So really, like, you can make any decision you want. That also means like you don't have any mandatory meetings. You get to decide if you want to have any meetings or a team, no team, what the art looks like. So you don't have to worry about tech debt. So if you add a feature, you can code it in as horribly as you want and just get it working. I'm guilty of this. I know a lot of modders are guilty of this because we just want the feature. We don't really care as much about the long-term maintenance of it in many cases. Although I will say, with an asterisk, that you should, because it always makes your life better in the future. But anyway, like you don't need to worry about that. So you don't need to worry about the code cleanliness or anything like that. So as a modder, you also don't have to worry about bugs. Like you can fix your own bugs, but you don't have to fix the bugs of the entire game. And believe me, there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's as a modder, you get to decide essentially how you spend your time. But as officially developing the game, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. I have a lot of responsibilities outside of just coding on the game and outside of designing the game as well. It's a lot of communicating with other teams. It's a lot of community management, actually, implicitly. It's a lot of like sub projects within Mojang Studios. And so I guess to put it simply, being a modder, you're free to do whatever you want, which is why you can usually do it faster because you don't have to worry about so many things. But officially developing the game, it's not just my job to worry about the now of the game. It's my job to worry about what's going to happen 5, 10, 20 years down the line of the game. And I have to design the game in a way that we can keep the game going for that long. And we don't add features that will completely break any future feature or that invalidate any existing feature. We don't have to worry about that stuff. With a mod, you can make your mod as overpowered as you want. You don't have to worry about that because people are going to play your mod to enjoy the mod. And with the base game, we can't just like add an ore that's 1,000 times better than diamond, because why would anyone use diamond after that?
Right. Well, and that's why I love the balance of netherite, because it's like, yeah, you can go ahead and build an entire netherite suit, but if you work with diamond, it makes your life a lot easier. So there's no reason to get rid of your diamond suit for nothing.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort to get netherite.
Yes.
It takes time.
Many hours digging in the netherite.
It's dangerous there.
Yeah. My final question comes from Rebel JC. They ask, can you give us a glimpse on how the dev team comes up with ideas and discussions for future updates or features?
Sure. And this changes, I would say, every update as we learn and improve our processes. But when it comes to coming up with ideas and discussing the ideas, I would say every update starts by like getting together to discuss what areas of the game we think would be best to improve next. And we do often think several updates ahead. It's not always just what are we doing next. It's like, what are we doing next, and next. And always kind of thinking about like, what is the direction we want to take the game the next few years. From there, we choose a general like theme for the update and then brainstorm some ideas around that theme. And that usually involves choosing pillars of the update. I think we talk about the pillars during live. But the pillars help us decide what features we add, because we want the features to fulfill the pillars. And the pillars are essentially a way of guiding the update so that we can fulfill promises to the players based on those pillars. Then we open it up to the company, sort of think about it like a funnel. So at the top, we just kind of at a broad company level, like let people in on what the theme is and invite people to suggest ideas to us. From there, we take the ideas back into the team, and then we discuss and prioritize and iterate and mix in our own ideas with the ones that were suggested that we felt would fit well. And once we've put together our idea of like what the initial features are for the update and what priority we should do them in, each feature, at least like the first few features, get assigned a design owner who then is responsible for leading the design and the development of that feature in coordination with other developers. Then each feature is only owned by one person, but there's always a ton of collaboration on design questions and sub-features for each feature. And like the design team especially, we're always talking all the time about how we can make our features work well together, thinking about existing features and, you know, keeping the game design. Brandon is really, King B-Dogs is very big on keeping design space open and not closing it off for the future. And that's definitely something we try to do as well.
Awesome. You guys heard it here. 122 is already figured out. We got everything on the board.
But as a concrete example, the axolotl, like we were just sitting in a meeting thinking about what mobs would be really fun to have in caves. And I was just thinking, like, I don't know why it popped into my head, but I was like, I do know a cave creature that's really derpy and really cute and is endangered and would just be perfect for Minecraft. And I just threw the axolotl on the board, and everyone was like, axolotls.
Yep, big hit.
So you're responsible for the cuteness overload.
I'm responsible for the initial idea. I'll give Olaf a lot of credit for the design. We co-designed that one. But yeah, that's just another example of like, not every idea comes from a big brainstorming process. Sometimes it's just somebody gets really inspired and people are like, yes, that's it.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, you hear the Minecraft community always throwing ideas out there. This will be next. This will be next. Do you ever like consider the Minecraft community when you take in this discussion?
Oh, absolutely. The community, we're really, really big on listening to the community. I mean, obviously, people were asking for the cave update for, a decade.
Yeah.
But I think we had a video that addressed this exact point. Like, I don't think we could have done the cave update justice until now. Like, no sooner than now would we have been able to deliver on the tech needed, on the features that we added. And I think we're doing it at the right time, and I'm glad that we're taking our time to do it. But we definitely do listen, absolutely.
So timing's pretty key. Last question I have is from J-Man. This is a fun question. We usually bring it up. Mending or infinity on your bow?
Yeah, that's a fun one. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a hand-to-hand combat kind of person most of the time.
Oh.
So the only time that I use my bow is usually when I'm defending somebody else that I'm playing with. Or if I want to just like poke at a creeper that's really far away. But I would say infinity is really great in this case because I barely ever have to worry about running out of arrows in that case. Since I don't I don't want to have to think about it. And in the off chance that I do need it, like infinity is there for me. I usually won't run out of durability, especially if I get one with higher durability. So yeah, definitely I'm going to go with infinity here. It's just so cool.
Yeah, someone who's not a great shot. Yeah, infinity's nice.
Yep, I'm not a great shot. I will admit it. I want to think that I am, but I am not.
Yeah, I've always been team infinity, but lately I've been using my bow a lot with the cave update in and out of the caves all the time. My bow's almost gone, and I noticed usually you combine it with another bow and you got your infinity bow back up to par. No, it's at the point where it can't be combined with anything. It's like too expensive. And I'm like, oh no, I'm still not going to switch. Still going to get my infinity book, use my infinity bow. Always been team infinity.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, you got to retire that bow before it breaks.
Yeah, stick it in a glow item frame.
Oh,
that's what I did literally yesterday.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh,
my bow is officially sitting on my trophy case because it was the first bow I crafted. It took 9-10 months before it finally got down to, I think I had 3 uses left. It officially got retired.
I died like 3 times. I've lost mine to lava and a bunch of different stuff.
It's the one thing, everything I've lost, this one bow has just lived through it all, so it deserves a spot on the mantle.
I love the history of items like that.
I do too.
Gives it a little storyline.
Yeah.
I think we all at some point take our first iron armor set, throw it on the armor stand in the corner. Take pride in it.
I usually smelt mine down.
Jeez, Jimbo.
Like, I'm not going to need this old tin can.
And then there's just Jimbo who doesn't care.
Got my diamonds.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's show. But before I have Jimbo read this out, I want to say a huge thank you to our patrons for supporting the show. Our milk level patrons are Aubni, ChiefBigBear, Crock, DeadWalker, FragileRock, ohbeep, and StoneFigure. If you too would like to get access to exclusive benefits and hours of extra content each month, please consider joining at patreon.com/The Withering Effect.
And I'd also like to thank our special guest, Corey, for joining us.
Yes.
Great having you. Episode 100. Monumental episode.
Super happy to be here for this awesome episode, guys. Thank you for having me.
Been our pleasure.
Thank you. You don't understand how awesome it was when Carl sent a message saying, hey, we've got a guest for 100. And it was a developer. It's like, oh, man, this is great.
Yep.
I'm super happy to be here to celebrate with you guys.
So if you like the show, you can share it with all your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, follow us, or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com, tweet us, leave a voice message, or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All the links will be in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should be. And the amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. As always, thank you so much for getting withered. I messed it up.
So close.
Thank you so much for getting withered with us 100 times now. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.